Well, good evening. It is January 2nd. We haven't seen the sun for more than a couple minutes here or there in a long time. Probably about a month now. That's kind of ridiculous. We always get a couple hard weeks in the mid-fall when we're hanging in the 30-40 degree region. Just gets really gray, but this is going on for a long time, so we've been relying heavily on the generator. Unfortunately for it, it works really good, but I just noticed today, I'm sure you can see that. I'm not exactly sure why, but this piece of wire has gotten corrosive and resistive, and right now there is 50 amps going through it. I got the generator at about half throttle. Yeah. Well, I can't really get an exact reading, but what I'm trying to say is it is hot. It is really, really hot. So I'm going to have to shut this down. I'm going to have to make a new cable. Yeah, this one was solid copper. I used this one. Obviously, I put this together when I was kind of short on supplies, and I must have used a piece of an old jumper cable that was, I want to say it was 2-gauge wire, but it must have been copper coated tin, and just from the extended use and the power traveling through it, it burnt itself up from the inside out, and it's pushing the gases from the metals right out of the rubber, and there's like just corrosive buildup on the outside. Oh yeah, geez, that's hot. Yeah, so I gotta go turn that thing off. That's out of control. That's like about to start on fire. So yeah, let's go take care of that. All right, so generator shut down. Ran all over the yard trying to find all the right stuff. We're gonna make new cables for her out of real copper wire. This is 0-gauge stranded copper, solid. It's real copper, not copper coated tin. This isn't the first thing that has failed with wire that I've made from those berry cables. I bought 2 because the price was right. Advertised as 2-gauge, blah blah blah, 300 amp, blah blah blah. And yeah, out of the box they worked fine, but this will be the last piece of anything I made from one cable that I throw away. just garbage. It's not even worth trying to scrap. It's garbage. It's burnt. And jumper cables that I kept for jumper cables. Also went to shit. They corroded and couldn't even use them to jump a vehicle. They were just junk. They were not moving any amps. Man, this is some tough insulator on here. Knife. Huh. Sorry. I thought this was pointing more at me. Knife I'm using was made by my good buddy Dusty Schoolbooks. This started its life as a 1.5-inch piece of coil spring. He smelted it down and hammered it out, polished it, and cut it to a real nice blade. She doesn't hold a polish worth of shit, but it holds an edge really good. I've in nearly 1.5 years of carrying this every single day, just being my EDC. I use that thing for opening packages, brick pallets, all kinds of stuff. It comes into contact with a lot of not desirable materials for a knife anyways. And just this evening I used it to skin and quarter out a deer, and I didn't have to stop to sharpen it. So I don't know, it's a good knife. If you're watching this, Dusty, thanks, bro. I love that thing. Am I gonna pay $200 for a ratcheting crimper? Not a chance. Nope. Hammer and concrete. Looks better. Hell with shrink wrap. I just need to get this thing running again. This cable will actually carry the current. I don't know what my girls are doing up there, but they're a bunch of goofy dorks. Sounds like they got the dogs all fired up. They must be playing some kind of game. I don't know. Oh, come on. Yeah, so it's really important to keep an eye on your stuff, you know. And when you're building stuff, always go overkill. I've learned this lesson over and over again. Scale everything for double what you actually plan on it carrying, and everything will be okay, because sometimes stuff doesn't do exactly what you think it's going to do. And you know, look at me here. It's 9 o'clock at night. The batteries are low. month, and I'm changing out a wire. The one wire in the entire system that I cheaped out on. One wire. Everything else is top notch. And once you know it, that's the one that's causing me a huge problem. The one time of the year I actually rely on this generator, and I got a wire that nearly burns up on me because it's so resistive. It can't even carry the current. I'm trying to squeeze through it. I'll bet you every dollar in my pocket. But with this new chunk of wire here, I'm going to be able to see some good numbers. So at the exact throttle position that I was at right now, what was it making? I don't know. I forget. Like 1,300 watts, 1,300 watts. I guarantee you, just having a new wire, it's going to kick more power. Because I couldn't squeeze it through. It was getting hot. I could smell it. It's not going to do that now. This will carry it. I don't know why I didn't use that from the start. The cable must have been laying around in just the exact length, but holy look at that. Look at that. Look at how, yeah. Yeah, that was close to a disaster. Wow. Wow, that's scary. Yep, keep an eye on your stuff. Do not cheap out on wire, because it's not worth it. I'm gonna go fire the generator back up, and I'm not gonna touch the throttle. We'll see what it's doing with the new wire. I'm willing to bet there's an improvement. Alright. Well, like I figured, exact same throttle point, and we're making over 1,500 watts, almost 60 amps. With just a different piece of wire. No heat building up. I'll give it some time. I'm going to keep an eye on it. But I'm going to go ahead and call that a win. I'm getting more power out of the same amount of gas being used. House is using 100. Alright, I apologize about that. Battery died last night, and I just didn't feel like messing around with the camera anymore. I was screwing around with wires and running in and inside and outside and everything else about 75 million times. But anyways, this morning, of course, it's gray again. The wind is actually blowing a little bit. So there's some power coming in from the turbine. That's cool. But I turned up the generator just a little bit more, and now she's kicking out about 2,000 watts, 2,100. The turbine is going from 1 to 200 watts. We got some northeast wind, which is our best wind. It's only about 11 miles an hour, but clean wind, man, what a difference. We can have 40-mile-an-hour wind from the southwest, and it's so dirty because of all the trees and stuff over there that it's just not productive. But yeah, 10, 11 mile an hour wind from the northeast makes power. That's amazing. It's just amazing how much more productive steady power is than little gusts and freaky peaks, like my buddy Billy would like to say. But yeah, the generator's kicking ass. There's 80 amps coming in, and that's I don't even want to call it warm. No, that's room temperature. I don't know. It's barely warmer than anything else. So that's definitely a win. So yeah, gauge your wire up, for double what you think it's actually going to carry, because cheaping out, and I say this all the time. I guess it's just been so long since I installed this machine. It's been almost 4 years, and it just smoked that wire. That's that copper-plated tin wire, and it's just garbage. Like that, this would have turned into a problem. It might not have happened last night. It might have made it for another 6 months, but that would have turned into a problem. And I was noticing a difference in performance with the generator, but I'm glad I smelled it. I came down here and I could smell like something's wrong. But I ran it for a full tank of gas last night. I do have it running again this morning, just because I'm getting ready to go to work, and I want to give her a quick boost before I leave, and then I'll shut her back down. But batteries are in much better condition. I did take some of this stuff. I don't know why this phone can't focus. It's Deca. Why can't you focus? Oh, maybe the lens is dirty. Alright. Hang on for a second. I'm sorry. My phone gets really dirty. I jam it in my pocket, and I work with dust and stuff, and hey, look at that. So yeah, I hose the whole thing down with this stuff, and that helps clean up the residue that seeps out of the ports when these batteries boil off. They slowly they do accumulate a little bit of residue on the top, and that residue, if it builds up enough, that can be conductive, so you are possibly losing power in between, it's grounding itself out. Even just the tiniest little bit makes a difference, Again, when you're on stored power, everything makes a difference. So keeping your batteries clean will just keep them happier. So I made sure all of my cells were tight, because that'll neutralize the acid, and hose the whole thing down. Just had it all covered in foam, let that sit on there for 20-30 minutes, and then I literally took distilled water and just poured it over and let it run off of the table and go to the drain. And I don't know, shit, they look like halfway brand used batteries. These are 6 years old. Those are 3 years old. They look beautiful. So, yeah, we're in spite of not seeing the sun for a month, only other than a couple of minutes here and there, like it peaked out yesterday for probably literally 15 minutes. And it peaked out last week, Tuesday, for a couple of minutes. That's not enough. Even though I've got 1,600 watts worth of panels, that just doesn't do it. That just does not charge 16 big deep cell batteries. The turbine helps. It helps a lot when wind's actually coming from the northeast, and it can make productive power. A steady 100 watts or so will help maintain, but when you got a fridge and a freezer going, the house is using 430 watts right now, and the turbine's only making 100. Solar is making nothing. Look at that. 11 watts. That's pathetic. I don't know what's going on with the sky lately, but I do know every single time the clouds part and the sun peeks through for a few minutes, that's all I can see is more planes flying this way and that way, leaving trails, and then the sun goes back away. So take that for what you want it to, but I don't know if anybody else is experiencing the same thing. But up here in the Midwest, yeah, we haven't seen the sun in a long time, and it's unusual. I'm not gonna call it natural. I don't even want to say it. The thing the news keeps talking about, with the weather, I think somebody's playing with it, and because I don't know, I've never seen anything like this. Just gray, like super gray, nothing getting through the sky every single day. Yesterday I made 0.5 kilowatt hours. The day before, 0.5. We've been averaging about 0.5 kilowatt hour a day, when I usually make 8 to 10 kilowatt hour. And I don't even have to look at the battery meters most of the year, because I just know we're good. My solar array rocks. It makes tons of power if light gets through the sky, and light has not gotten through the sky in like going on over a month. This is just kind of ridiculous. I've never had to rely on my generator before. It's there for a backup, and I'm very blessed to have it. But I don't know. Something's weird this year. So I don't know. Keep your heads on a swivel. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. God bless ya. Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, all that stuff.